Hey, welcome back. My name is Dino. This video is on semiotics. It discusses the concepts of denotation and connotation. But first, for those of you who haven't seen my other videos on semiotics, first a definition. Semiotics is the theory and study of signs and symbols, especially as elements of language or other systems of communication. And more specifically, you're probably, for this purposes, looking at semiotics in terms of signs. Chandler also defines it as the science of signs. From this, semiotics help to systematically interpret signs and symbols. Again, this is discussed in a previous video in terms of semiotics being the science of signs. Here are three different classifications of semiotics: the icon, the symbol, and the index. The icon is a literal visual representation, such as this icon of this car. A symbol is more abstract and does not necessarily have physical form, say as this biohazard symbol. And finally, the index create connections between objects, such as this umbrella, say on a weather app, denotes that, or it makes a connection between this umbrella and wet weather. So now I'm going to go and talk a little bit about denotation and connotation. So this sort of talks about, it gets into the sort of more the nuts and bolts of what semiotics are. These terms, denotation and connotation, they act as a framework to help understand signs. Denotation first is the sign's most commonly accepted meaning. So it's when you look at a sign, it's what you sort of immediately come to think of it. And I'll get into an example of that in just a second. And then connotation is secondary associations based on an individual person's personal experience. So as a result, a sign can have multiple meanings. A denotation, the most commonly accepted meaning, and then a secondary association, which can be it can vary based on your personal experience. And then I'll get into the importance of that in just a second. But first, I'll give you an example, sort of help play out these terms because they're still a bit vague. So again, sign is denotation is the sign's most commonly accepted meaning. Connotation is a secondary associations based on an individual's personal experience. For example, I think this is a really good example, is the hat on the left. The most commonly accepted meaning of a hat, a red hat, is just a hat. With this text on it, "Make America Great Again." And again, I'm not being political, like overtly. You can support or not support Donald Trump as president. Doesn't matter. It's more just an example. If you add the text "Make America Great Again," the denotation, the most commonly accepted meaning, becomes a little bit more complicated, and it's basically this red hat is its meaning is it's something a supporter of the president would most likely wear. However, the connotation, secondary associations based on personal experience can be different. So the connotation, the secondary association for this example, for this hat, can be multiple. If you're a supporter of the president, you can associate this hat with a number of positive emotions. And especially, say, if you're in a state or a city or a town that supports the president, it can have very positive experiences. Conversely, someone who's against the president, who doesn't support the president, may have individual personal experiences that are much more negative, and they can have different associations, different meanings. And again, it doesn't really matter if you like the president and support him, or you don't like the president, you don't support him. The secondary associations can be much more broad depending on the person and their personal experiences. And then also, I'll give this example. On the right is President Trump when he was in the Oval Office. This was during when Clemson, with the great Trevor Lawrence as the quarterback, when they won the national championship. He had a big celebration where he had a bunch of, this is fast food in the Oval Office. And one of the things is, like, it's interesting how, again, there's a number of different signs here and different meanings here. And so what you see here, one of the most, the common meaning is it's like the Oval Office, or not the Oval Office. It's a room in the White House. The most commonly accepted meaning is, it's a powerful person with a red tie, the suit, the president, in a powerful setting, the White House, in one of its rooms. And then the secondary associations that you can get from this are, like, based on the food. You can see that these foods can have different associations, and you normally sort of associate fast food as being more cheap. Just regular people eat it. And it's like here in this picture, you have both a high status symbol, the president, the power suit, the White House. And then you also have a different, like a lower status, which is like common fast food, which I know I love more than the average person. And so, and both in this setting, It's traditionally mostly the most common meaning for the White House is power, prestige, high status. Here it's been mixed with low status symbols, which is really, I find, for me, very interesting. Finally, the importance of semiotics. Like, why do we care about this? In terms of denotation and connotation, the importance is that most signs have one or very few accepted meanings. That's the denotation. So as the hat, the red Make America Great Again hat, it's either a red hat, it has the presidential seal of approval because the president wears it, but it can have many more associations, and that's the connotation part. So depending on if you are a supporter or not a supporter, this simple red hat with some text on it can have many more associations because it's embedded in personal experiences that can vary widely depending on the person. So from this, you need to create and manage signs with care to do potentially unintended interpretations. These are the connotations. So you may think that a sign that you share has one or few accepted meanings, a denotation, but in fact, depending on what the sign is, say that the Make America Great Again hat, it can have many more connotations that you can't control necessarily. So just you want to do that when you're communicating through semiotics and signs. That was semiotics, denotation, connotation. My name is Dino. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to like this video if you like it. Please feel free to comment on the definition of denotation, the definition of connotation, their contrast, and the example of Make America Great Again hat, and the sign of the president in the red tie power suit in the White House, but then juxtaposed with this fast food for a national championship winning football team full of football players who often like fast food, and about how these symbols can be these signs can be used and both deployed by the creator but also received by the audience in multiple ways. Finally, if you like this type of video, please feel free to subscribe to this channel for similar types of content. As always, thanks for watching.